Hey guys, how you doing? I'm SM22, and I just came back from seeing Captain Marvel, the newest movie in the MCU. Now, I went into Captain Marvel not really expecting too much. The only thing that I really expected was a funny buddy cop style movie with Captain Marvel and Nick Fury, and just some clarification for like what's gonna happen in Endgame, that kind of stuff. And I will say, I was pleasantly surprised with how well it went. So, in the first bit right here, I'm not going to go through many spoilers. Then I'll jump into spoilers a little bit later. So, make sure that you guys watch this, up to the point so you guys can see, like, my actual, like, review of it so that, you know how I feel. So, I feel like this movie was pretty good, actually. I mean, it's not the best MCU movie, but it's far from the worst. I would say, out of the 21 movies, this is probably maybe around 10th on my favorites. And I think the main reason is that Brie Larson as Captain Marvel is a good choice. I mean, she's done some pretty good stuff before. I haven't seen too much of her work, so I'm not the one who could legitimately say whether or not she was a good pick for Captain Marvel. But I will say that she has that little flair about her that's pretty good. And I feel like in Endgame she'll be a good character, because she'll be reflecting off of the best MCU characters. But here, the only person that she really had to reflect off of was Nick Fury. And I feel like she kind of fell flat a little bit. Like, it wasn't like a big deal, but I feel like she is probably the cringiest of all of the MCU heroes. And that's just because, like Tony Stark, he's snarky, like Star-Lord, he's like some dude pretending to be tough when he's not, like Peter Parker, he's just some over-cocky kid, but Brie Larson as Captain Marvel brings like a certain like how do you call it, like a stoicism kind of to it, where it's like everything that Nick Fury says that's kind of like supposed to be taken as a joke, she will kind of like make a joke like that, but it's kind of different, with Nick Fury, it's like, ha 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 ha, but with Captain Marvel, it's like, huh, what? Excuse me? And, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a good thing. I will say, though, if Black Panther wasn't the last MCU, not origin story, but like the last MCU standalone movie, then this would be a much bigger deal, because Black Panther never quipped, and all Captain Marvel does is quip. So that's kind of funny, I guess, kind of like paralleling the two. And it did answer a whole lot for Endgame. Like, I'll talk about it a little bit, but it did. Like, if you guys want to see Endgame, you don't necessarily have to see this movie, but it's a good idea, because you'll get some clarification for, like, what's going on. You'll get sense for, like, oh, this is how that happened. This is how that happened. Oh, that's how that got there. It would do that a lot. And it's pretty cool. I will say, though, the best character, or the character that, like, shocked me the most, was that one lady, the Carol Danvers' friend. She shocked me because I've never seen that actress in anything, and she was doing top notch. Like, she was pretty good, to be honest. Like, with how she delivered her lines and how she reflected off of the other people, she was doing great. I thought, like, she was the most out of left field actress in the movie that would surprise me, but she surprised me. It really did. And, and Nick Fury, obviously Samuel Jackson is a great actor. I love his work. So, obviously, he was doing great as well. And, Coulson appeared for a little bit, which was nice, I guess. I mean, I was never, like, a huge Coulson fan, but, for the people that do love Coulson, and don't get me wrong, I do like Coulson. I think he's a good character. But, just when he showed up, I was like, hey, it's Coulson, that makes sense, and S.H.I.E.L.D. was kind of cool, how it's like, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. is like kind of like on the super down low, as opposed to like in the present with Captain America and everything, and everyone knows who S.H.I.E.L.D. is. But it was really cool to be able to see Coulson again. It was really cool to see Nick Fury young again. That was really cool. I thought it was cool. And the little girl in the movie, Carol Danvers' niece, like niece with quotation marks, niece, she was cool. I mean, I liked her because she was like kind of like a gateway into the past or whatever. It was pretty cool. And so now I'm gonna get to some spoilery stuff. If you guys haven't seen the movie yet, just leave. Right now I'm just kind of talking about stuff that kind of didn't make too much sense. So, like, she has control of her powers, right? And then she beats the bad guy, and then she's like, hurrah, I have complete control of my powers, boy! Right? But for some reason, it's kind of like, well, why didn't you do that earlier? You know? It's like, that thing on your neck has been there since frame 1. So, I mean, come on. You know, you just kind of gotta do that a little bit, you know? It's like, why act like that's a roadblock when it's honestly not? Like, if it was me, the second I realized that the bad guys were up to no good, I would have been like, oh, hell nah. You know, I would have taken that thing off. I would have just been like, that's not working. You know, and it would have been, problem solved. There we go. I would have beat them from the very beginning, but no, she didn't do that, you know? So I feel like that. And also I feel like the movie wasn't, it was good. It was good. I don't feel like it was worth 2.25 hours though. That, I feel like the runtime was like, wait, you know, just like looking at it, they did clarify a lot. So I don't think it was like padded too much. It was padded a little bit, but not too much. But like looking at the poster, and then I was like, wait, the runtime is 2 hours and 10 minutes? And that kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, this movie must have a lot of padding. And so that does kind of turn people off from the get-go. But I mean, it's fine, I guess. And now I'm going to talk about the part that stunned me the most at the very beginning. So they normally show the logo with all the Avengers and stuff in it, you know, and it's super cool and it's epic. This time, they just filled it with a bunch of pictures and videos and clips and stuff of Stan Lee, because this was the first MCU movie since he died, and it was an art form. It was beautiful. I was like, oh my god, in the theater, I was like, this is what has been, building up for, you know. We've been building up to a point where we can celebrate just how amazing his contribution to us was. Like, without Stan Lee, we wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't be able to talk about these movies. I wouldn't be able to enjoy these movies as much as I do, because they wouldn't even exist. And now they do. And now that Stan Lee's dead, we can like actually like say that like all of his accomplishments and put it at a point, and like, it is sad that he's dead, but like that little cinematic thing, it brought tears to my eyes a little bit, to be honest, actually. And then his cameo, it's in the same scene as when that old lady fights in the trailer. So pretty much he's just like reading a newspaper or something, and then Captain Marvel like puts it down, you know, or like puts the newspaper down, and then he smiles at her, and then I can tell that this was shot after she died. Or after he died, the part where she smiles back at him. She smiles at him for like a second, then she's like, you know, as if like fondly remembering him, and then she just walks on. So I feel like his part was already done, but I feel like they've reshot her part of it, kind of like to make it more like you aren't here, but we still remember you, you know, kind of like that, as if we're still paying a contribution to you, which honestly, they couldn't have done a better job with that. I feel like that Stan Lee moment, it wasn't the best Stan Lee moment. It wasn't the worst Stan Lee moment, but I feel like it was the most touching Stan Lee moment. And that's just all I can say about it. And just, the movie is really good. It's good. It's better than I thought it would be. Like, people were saying that the trailers made it look really bad, but I really don't see what kind of direction you can go in the trailers without giving away that the Kree are actually the bad guys and the Skrull are just, you know, just the innocent refugees, you know. And the trailers, like, watching them again, they're not that bad, you know. It's like, oh, they are a little misleading with how they portray it, but it's not bad. Like, they're okay. Like, I expected the movie to be around a 7-ish, 7 out of 10, because most MCU movies are around a 7 out of 10. And it was around 7.5, 7 out of 10. You know, I feel like it was around that area. It didn't surprise me too much, which was a good thing. I didn't want like a huge, shocking surprise. Like, the only real surprise was that a freaking cat is the reason that Nick Fury doesn't have his eye, and the fact that the Tesseract was brought here by Captain Marvel. That Captain Marvel found the Tesseract. That was probably the biggest thing, and the biggest big out of left field thing that because the Kree being bad guys thing that was a twist, but that was a twist specific to this movie. Whereas I didn't really expect anything that shocked the world of the MCU too much. I expected clarification for some things in Infinity War, some things in Endgame, and that's what we got. We got an explanation as to if the Avengers found the radar signal thing. We got clarification that she joins the Avengers. We got clarification that half of everyone is dead, because on the counter thing in the very beginning of the end credit sequence, it has a counter of missing people, and the counter's going up still, which shows that maybe people are still disappearing. I don't know. I kind of thought in the moment, hey, what if not everyone disappeared at once? That would be a really cool twist. If it's kind of like a disease epidemic where not everyone falls at once, but they fall in a timely fashion, where it's someone falls and then not too long after, but still a while after, someone else falls. I feel like that would be really cool to have it so that one of the Avengers does end up going down, but in the same way, it's kind of it's like a disease, That would be really cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb, but yeah, we did get clarification for that, and we got clarification for some other things. Nothing too huge, but it was enough to satisfy me. I was okay, that's really all I needed to know. That way, in the beginning of not Infinity War, in the beginning of Endgame, they don't have to spend too much time on Captain Marvel. That way, it's one of the beginning scenes would just be them all talking, and Captain Marvel's oh yeah, I'm here, I've been here, okay, here we go. Or just redoing that scene in the beginning and just keep on going with it. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know, but yeah. So Captain Marvel, I would say around 7.5 out of 10. And for my analysis of it, go see it. It's not I feel like it's not necessary to understand Endgame, but go see it. I mean, it's good. It's a good movie. It's not a bad movie. Some people are saying it's a bad movie. No, it's not. There are worse MCU movies out there. Like I said, it's 10th or so on my favorite MCU movies. So it's good because I'm kind of picky with my MCU movies, And I guess that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you enjoyed, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. So I will be doing a review of Endgame when it comes out. I'll be doing a review of Detective Pikachu when it comes out. Doing a review of Shazam when it comes out. I'm going to be reviewing a lot of stuff in spring 2019, to be honest, guys. So I hope you guys can subscribe for that and watch that when it comes out. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Stay shrinky. Bye-bye.